New Orleans, home of the New Orleans Saints, who dat, Mardi Gras, Princess and the Frog, and of course, Bree. Yes, y'all, I said Bree. So if you're traveling to New Orleans for Academy or to town in between rotations, guess what? You're in luck because Bree knows her stuff. So where do I begin? This year, the Academy meeting will be held in the Ernest M. Memorial Convention Center, right off of the Mississippi River. But after you finish learning about all of the new and fancy things about optometry, it's time to go enjoy the city of New Orleans, right? New Orleans is divided into different areas such as Treme, Mid-City, French Quarter that all together make up Orleans Parish, one of the 64 parishes of the state of Louisiana. The French Quarters, originally founded in 1718 by French explorer Jean Bienville. I was trying to put on a French accent, but I don't think it's worked that well. But his name was Jean Bienville. On the French Quarter, also known as the Vieux Carré, meaning Old Square, is the heart of the city, and today is the center of everything that goes on there. St. Louis Cathedral, the oldest Catholic church in the city of New Orleans, a monument of longevity, which represents New Orleans. On the left side of the cathedral is the Cabildo, the original town hall of New Orleans, the place where the Louisiana Purchase was signed, a document that's still housed there today. On the right is the Presbytere, the original living quarters of the priest of the city. Today is the Louisiana State Museum, which houses some of our precious gems and artifacts. In front of these landmarks is no other than Jackson Square Park, with a statue of Andrew Jackson, the president, in the center of it all, galloping away on his horse like a horseshoe tear. Say what now, Dr. Lingle? But the magic, all the magic, happens outside the gates of the park. There you will find all of the things that make New Orleans what New Orleans is today. You will find street vendors, musicians, artists, and some other things that keeps New Orleans weird. Say what now? Okay. So while you're in the Big Easy, don't be afraid to let go and dance to the music while you're walking down the streets of Bourbon or walking down the streets of Royal, enjoying the art and the antique work, or taking a stroll down the moonwalk along the Mississippi River, or heading back over to the convention center for more of the Academy experience.
Gentlemen, here's one you all can sing with us when the Saints go marching in.
New Orleans is the birthplace of jazz and also musical icons including Louis Armstrong, Fats Domino, and the heavenly Mahalia Jackson. Can I get a witness? Jazz also has a place at some of the city's most celebratory events known as second lines, where the first line is the band and the second line is the people that follow. Jazz also takes place at funerals. It is a moment of celebrating life rather than mourning death. So when you're in town and you see the brass band assembling and the folks following behind, grab an umbrella, a napkin, or yourself and just jump on in. So whether you're listening to the sounds of jazz at the Spotted Cat, Preservation Hall, the Maple Leaf, or at Urban Mayfield Playhouse, let the good times roll. Laissez bon temps. Now it's time to talk about food. New Orleans would not be New Orleans without its original coffee stand, Cafe Du Monde, and its famous beignets. While Cafe Du Monde will forever have a place in our hearts for its luscious beignets, there are many restaurants throughout the city of New Orleans where you can find some of the finest Creole dining, including places like Commander's Palace and Galatoire's. So if you're looking for soul comfort food at Dookie Chase or Willie Mae's, or a modern twist on Creole cuisine like at Emerald's or John Besh's restaurants, no worries, we got it here in a Big Easy. But while you're in New Orleans, enjoy all of the flavors and tastes of the city. Are you hungry yet? I know I am. Bourbon Street, the party central of New Orleans, a strip of bars, clubs, restaurants, businesses, and all other kind of things that make it what it is. But if Bourbon Street becomes too rowdy for you, head over to Frenchman on the other side of Esplanade Avenue to enjoy some of the sounds of jazz and blues and reggae.
My grandma and your grandma were sitting by the fire. My grandma told your grandma.
The French Market still stands strong today as one of the original places of trade in the city of New Orleans, where Indian tribes would trade corn, sugarcane, and other crops from the great state of Louisiana with locals and others visiting the port city of New Orleans. So when you're taking a break from Academy, head on down to the French Market and get a little goodie to remind you of your visit to the city of New Orleans. Next, let's head on over to the Garden District. And do you know which street is most famous there? You know it, St. Charles Avenue. Not only do the cruise and Mardi Gras roll down this uptown street of New Orleans, but this is where you will find your mansions, antebellum homes, and of course, the classic streetcar. So when you get off of that streetcar, get your walking shoes ready and go ahead and enjoy the views of the Garden District. So while you're walking around the Garden District, head on over to Magazine Street, where you will find a street filled with vibrant restaurants, art galleries, shopping, and did I mention restaurants? Oh yeah, we love to eat. Uh-oh, there goes second line. You know what to do. Get on in there now. Yep, y'all read that right. Cemeteries. You thought Portland was weird. I think we might take the cake on this one. But because New Orleans is below sea level, we bury our folks above ground. And it's become a huge part of New Orleans culture. So while you're in New Orleans, head on over to Lafayette Cemetery #1 in the Garden District, or Metairie Cemetery to visit the Weeping Angel, or the Sphinx, or St. Louis Cemetery #1 to visit the Queen of Voodoo, Marie Laveau herself. So while you're walking around St. Louis #1, you'll notice that Marie Laveau isn't the only voodoo priestess that's there. So when you're walking through, take a deeper look at the graves and crypts at the 3 X's representing the 3 wishes that believers would ask their voodoo gods. But if you see a lady dancing around in a cemetery with a snake, it is time to go. Okay? I want you to say, wait a minute now, because I saw Thriller and I hope y'all saw Thriller, so you know what time it is. Although it's a little early for Mardi Gras, no worries. Head on over to Mardi Gras World where you will see where all the magic takes place. You will learn more about the floats, the art, and also more history on New Orleans' biggest festival. So if you're walking down the street and you see this colorful fella, no worries, it's just a Mardi Gras Indian. Masking Indian is a way of paying honor and respect to the Native Americans that took in African Americans during slavery. The Mardi Gras Indians will take the entire year working on their patchwork to make up the elaborate suits. So when Mardi Gras Day come around, the flag boy will open up the doors, letting through the big chief and all of his Indians to display the colors of the world. So by now you should know that there is never a dull moment in the Big Easy. And if you're still interested in learning a little bit more about the Cajun City of the South, jump on one of the hop-on, hop-off buses where it will take you around the city of New Orleans. And if the city life ain't for you, honey, jump on a boat and cruise down the muddy waters of the bayou where you will meet the king himself. Yes, that's right, Mr. Gator. Watch yourself now. Ow! And if you're looking for good old family fun, head on down to the Audubon Zoo where you will see the white tiger and a lot of other animals indigenous to the state of Louisiana and around the world. The Aquarium of the Americas is another way to enjoy the marine and aquatic life of the Gulf of Mexico and the connecting bodies of waters. Travel back in time at the National World War II Museum where you can learn more about the history and also see real life planes and tanks. Pretty cool, right? I know! But the fun isn't over yet, y'all. Next, head over to City Park where you can go bike riding, canoeing, and also take a nap underneath one of the oak moss-covered vines. And right in the middle of the park is the New Orleans Museum of Art, which is free on Wednesdays. Check it out. Now, if eating bugs is your thing, head on down to the Insectarium where you will learn more about those multi-legged creatures. And who knows, crickets may be on the menu that day. Chocolate covered, of course. So whether you're in New Orleans for a day or two, no worries. Just let the good times roll.
And miss it each night and day. I know I'm not wrong. This feeling's getting stronger the longer I stay away. Mr. Moss-covered vines, the tall sugar pines, where mockingbirds used to sing. And I like to see that lazy Mississippi hurrying into spring. Oh, the moonlight on the bayou, a Creole tune that fills the air. I dreamed of magnolias in bloom, and I'm wishing that I was there. Do you know what it means to miss New Orleans, since that's where you left your heart? And there's something more. I miss the one I care for more than I miss New Orleans.